Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, visitors, subscribers, and Cravenites. Welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Well, this is a very special night I've been looking forward to ever since being able to get this date locked in with these two guys. They're awesome, awesome individuals. I've had them on the channel before. I believe it was back in August, and we had a great time talking about projects and the state of things of where we were. That was, of course, way before any trailers to come out for Scream 6. They were still filming at the time, actually. But we are so thankful that this trailer dropped 2 days ago, so we can talk about that tonight as well with both of them. But they are amazing, very accomplished individuals, and they are Scream experts. If there ever was one to be called experts, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to find any more than these two guys. They're the top of the line when it comes to everything, man. Just you name it, cast interviews, uh, actual props, you know, Ghostface costumes, on-set consulting, the whole 9 yards. It's all there, guys. So I'm very excited to introduce them in just one moment. They're going to join us, and we're going to be hanging out for about an hour with you guys tonight, which is really, really cool that they're going to give it their time tonight for us and be able to talk and ask questions. And so, obviously, if you do have questions, please do feel free to send those in. I'm going to give a quick hello to the chat as we're up to 45 people already just getting off the bat. And as that number increases, guys, we will not be able to get to everyone's questions tonight or comments. So don't take it personal if we don't get your comment or question up on the screen. It's just not plausible to be able to do in 1 hour's time. However, if you do have a burning question or comment that you would like to get addressed by Nate or Anthony tonight, or myself, either way, and the three of us, please do send in a super chat because I will ensure that they will all get answered before we end the stream. They'll move to the front of the line, and I'll get a notification that it's come in, and we'll get you right in and get your question up. So you do have that avenue if you would like to do that. Much appreciated. Helps out the channel as well. All right. And I think, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here because I don't want to delay anymore with our time with them. So please welcome the amazing. I do see a couple super chats have come in, so we'll get to those in just a second. Please welcome the amazing Nate Reagan and Anthony Masi. What is going on, guys?
How's it going?
Hey,
Hey.
all
Thanks for
right.
having us.
Oh, thank you. Listen, the pleasure is all mine, and I will go on to say all ours for the community because we are all been very excited about having you here. I've had many conversations with folks leading up to tonight, and everyone's been excited about you guys being here again. So
Awesome.
it's a real treat. It's a real treat. So there's oh my gosh, guys, there's so many avenues and directions that we could go, and we probably will go in our time together tonight. But because of the timeliness of it all, I think we should start right up with the newest news in the Scream world. 2 days ago, we get the release of the full-blown Scream 6 trailer. And man, I tell you what, is there a more contrast perhaps that you've ever seen between 5's trailer and 6's? These are like completely two different universes almost. Right? Did you guys get that feeling about that? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was completely different tone. It still feels like Scream, but just
Right.
very different.
Yeah, it's built a tension in it that's unsettling. You know what I mean? Like it's trying to tell you to get ready for something. I gotta say though, in Scream 5's trailer, Dewey says this one feels different. Remember he says that in the trailer?
Yes.
And I don't feel like it really delivered anything that different, and I was a little let down. Here it does feel like they're going to deliver something a little different, like I don't know, that is just going to be different, and I don't know why. And it was very dark. Seemed like it was really dark, like Jason in Manhattan was fun, it was like he turns around, takes the mask off, and the guys go running, and but here they're really playing it for serious. I don't know, maybe it's just the time, like what was scary like back in the 90s or 80s or something could be considered a little cheesy and cliche now, so maybe they have to up it by making it dark. So I'm excited. It's definitely intrigued me. You know, what was the teaser trailer was a little like, I mean, it was cool to see him on the subway, you know, and all of that, but I think it needed the other 2 minutes. I think they did expose a little too much though in it. That's my problem. They showed some things I wish I hadn't seen, which they do all the time now.
It's so hard to get away from that. I will say this though. I was so happy that unlike 5, they didn't reveal the Ghostface killers in the trailer. When we saw Amber on fire in 5, and we saw literally Sam stabbing Richie, and if you pause it, you can see Richie's hair and his left shoulder, and
Oh,
so that was in the 5 trailer, and so they did not do this in this one. So I'm like, hallelujah! They already jumped ahead in my book just
yeah.
for that. But now I'd like to ask Anthony, and now I'm gonna get Nate's comments. What were there anything specific? You mentioned there were some things you wish you maybe hadn't seen. Did you have anything you wanted to share, like maybe that you felt?
Well, like the
I
whole
wish that wasn't
Courtney
in it.
thing. Yeah, just the whole Courtney thing, you know, like
Mm,
he shows up and jumps
yep.
at her. I don't know. It's like, if you show me that now, I know it's going to happen. I know they could have edited it and it could have been, you know, out of sequence or whatever, but you just kind of know.
Right.
I can't remember. There was one other thing that I said, why do you got to show me so much? You know,
So much.
I
Kind
kind
of
of
like,
wish,
oh
like, if
yeah.
you go back and look at like the 80s or like
Hmm.
teaser trailers, they really didn't show you that much. You know, I mean, I know like there's exceptions. Halloween showed you like, oh, Halloween's a surprisingly long trailer. I mean, it's like all the money shots. But like a lot of the
Yep.
horror movies were just like scream, scream, this and that. And then you know, they were just teaser trailers. There were no red band. Were there red band trailers back in the 80s? I don't know.
I
Um,
don't think so. I don't think
yeah,
so.
I always think like less is more. Show me less. I'll still go. Like, I'm not gonna not go because I didn't see a 2.5 minute trailer. If you show me a 45-second trailer, I'm still going to go. You know, so
Yes,
I don't understand the need to show so much.
it's true. Do you remember
That's
back
my
even in the 90s when we actually had narration trailers?
oh, I
You
love
know,
those.
the day's coming. And it's just like, what happened to those, man? Those were fun.
Yeah,
And they didn't show as much either.
yeah,
And I miss those narrate those days are over now for some reason.
yeah.
Um, and it's kind of like the Scream 5 trailer. We saw so much of the Terra scene. Remember that? It was like they
Mm,
parked there for a long time. I'm with you
yeah,
on the Gail thing. Wouldn't it have been nice just to see her, if you're going to show it, just show her picking up the phone saying, or saying, "Hello, Gail." Give us that, and then like,
yeah,
just that's all we see. Just cut it. Or something.
yeah.
Where it's yeah,
Like, that's all you need to
yeah,
see. You know, everyone,
right,
I think I read some comment on Facebook that said, I'm so glad he finally called Gail, you know, and I was like,
right.
I don't know if I'm excited that he called Gail. You know what I mean? Like, that's what the guy does. He calls you and terrorizes you. So that didn't seem like a very exciting thing to me, but it was like, is she going to be attacked? I mean, they showed too much. I already know what the
Yeah.
bustle is going to be. I think it's different with like Halloween H2O, where it's built to a showdown and then they show him chasing
Hmm.
her and she's, that's because that's what the movie is about. That's all it's been about, was he's coming back to get Jamie Lee. Um, but
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So
All right. No, I agree. All right. So Nate, what's your feedback, man? And tell me what your because I mentioned we talked offline before the show started. I know you have a reaction video, which everyone needs to go check out. Links to Nate's channel in the description of the video already. And my moderators, thank you by the way for being here tonight. I know Katie from Popping the Popcorn, Sarah Campbell, Denise is here to
yeah.
moderate the chat. So thank you for your service, if you will, tonight. Seriously, it's a full-time job pretty much, but they'll be putting links in the chat. But Nate, I didn't hear your feedback, so I wanted to keep it fresh for tonight. So what did you feel about the trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It definitely showed too much, but I think,
Hmm.
like you said, it showed less than 5. One of the things that 5 I felt showed way too much of that this trailer actually didn't was um, there were so many shots in the 5 trailer of Ghostface chasing somebody specific. So you're watching the 5 trailer, you're like, okay, Chad's getting chased and Mindy's getting attacked, and this, so your brain's already going like, well, if these people are all getting attacked, they're probably either going to die or they're not the killer. In this one, you don't really see, with the exception of Gale, you don't really see Ghostface chasing a specific character the way that it showed in 5. So it kind of leaves it like, okay, there's a lot of characters in this movie that you don't see anywhere near Ghostface in the trailer.
Nope.
So that kind of, I'm glad that they did that, because I know that was one of the big complaints that a lot of people had with the 5 trailer. I think the Gale thing, like the Gale thing and the convenience store, you almost felt like you got like a miniature version of that scene like put together. And I was surprised how much they showed of the convenience store. But I also felt like, and I don't know because I have no idea what the opening scene is going to be, but I feel like we didn't even see like a second of the opening scene, which I like, because I like going into a new Scream movie having no idea how it's going to open. And when we all saw the 5 trailer, we obviously knew that Tara was the opening scene of the movie.
Yes.
So
True.
I feel like we have no idea what the opening scene is going to be based off the trailer, which I'm glad that, it seems like we don't know.
Yeah. They did. They're making it harder. Like for folks like myself who, with the channel and content, I subject myself to potential spoilers because I deal frame by frame of the trailer, and sometimes, and I know it's like putting your hand in like a snake pit and just hoping you don't get bit. If I get bit, it's my own fault, right? Because I'm doing this. I take ownership,
Sure.
but I just hope that I don't. But they're definitely going to make it harder for us who are into that sort of thing to figure it out, which is really a huge step forward. So I have to give my personal opinion kudos to the marketing team at Paramount, because they really did a much better job, in my opinion, over the 5 trailer as well. It just
Well,
really,
also the artwork, the poster is great. They've had a couple of New
Mhm.
York like subway posters. They had an island. They showed Manhattan, and there's a and I thought that's kind of really cool. That's what you like. I mean, it's being creative and inventive. I love that they got out of Woodsboro. I think that's its biggest strength. We all love the iconography of the original film, and Stu's house was really great to see and everything. But I think and I'm assuming this is going to be a trilogy, right? I mean,
I think so.
I mean, if it's making money, it'll definitely. But I've heard, we've all heard that there's going to be a part 7. So I kind of feel like they're going in the right direction here with sort of keep bringing in the new stuff and keeping it fresh. The more derivative the Scream movies are, the better. It sort of serves the series better than another horror series. It's built on that whole, the more we pull from the past, the more clever and creative it is. But you still have to bring in the things that keep it fresh. And so this just feels like a really great start to this movie. And I think we're all not rolling our eyes going, oh my God, this looks so like obvious. It looks really like, what are they doing? I really hope they don't fail me though. I like, the over promising of, this one's different. I mean, I don't know. It's tough too. Like any horror franchise, if we have learned anything about franchises, is they tend to fall apart or just get old and tired. We still come and watch them because we love them. But by the time you get to part 6 of anything, and to the Scream's credit, every film has been great in my opinion.
I agree. 100%.
I mean, every film is like, wow, there isn't a weak film. Like, one could say part 3 was a little whatever, but still just very strong film. And so, maybe the expectation of it being actually another strong installment is too lofty of a wish. But so far, the track record's really good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, based on our proven or demonstrated history, I'm optimistic.
Me too.
I really am. And real quick, guys, before we continue our discussion tonight, I do have some super chats we'll get to, as I promised you that we would do that. And also, just real quickly, if you have not yet hit that thumbs up button on the stream tonight, I would greatly appreciate it. If you're enjoying the discussion, please hit that thumbs up. It takes less than 2 seconds, costs you nothing, and it really helps the stream immensely. Also in replay mode. So we greatly appreciate that. Let's show Anthony and Nate how much we're enjoying their time by smashing that thumbs up button. Let's get it on up and let them know. So another thing too, guys, real quick, we're going to hit this. Bobby, what's up, Bobby? How you doing, bro? Sending in a $5 super chat, says, you're the man, Craven. Well, thank you, man. Keep killing it in the YouTube world. Hope to work on something with you soon, my man. Definitely, man. You know we will. It's just a matter of time. Matter of time. Thank you, man. Maverick Media's coming in, guys, with the question. What's up, Mav? At the $2 super chat says, "What's Nate and Anthony's favorite scary movie?"
I feel like that's literally Ghostface calling us. They're asking. I'm a little scared to answer this now. Is my phone gonna ring? Someone can come attack my cat in any second.
Oh no.
He's sleeping right here. So anyway.
Oh.
I'll let Nate go first.
Probably the original Friday the 13th, just because it was the first horror movie that I ever saw, and I was like 8 years old, and it was what got me into horror. So it's got that soft spot, and I always go back to it. It's like a comfort movie.
Oh man, you're talking about the original, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Voorhees. She was wicked, bro. She was like, dude. And the way she could non-verbally communicate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me a lot of Debbie Salt, Laurie Metcalf, how, with her eyes and how she looked. So she looked like another level in that finale.
Yeah.
The way she was expressing herself.
It's almost like, like you can play crazy and it looks that way. And we've seen that all the time. Like we've seen that many times, but there are just some people that I think even Betsy said that she was trying to play it like over the top, and Sean Cunningham was like, pull it back and treat it more where like tone it down. And and it just worked. You believed her. Like she wasn't playing crazy. So yeah, I think that's why it works so well.
I agree. Man, in fact, I rewatched it not too long ago, couple weeks back or so, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I rewatched the first 4 Fridays just for fun, and I'm actually showing them to my daughter. She finally reached the age, guys, that I can introduce her to Scream. And
oh wow,
we watched all 5 Screams. She's watched the entire series.
Oh wow,
and now we watch them like a regular rotation. And it's gotten it's just so fun, dude. And what's great now is she literally is quoting Scream lines all the time to me now. Just like on the couch, she'll just like let one go. Or and it's
how
just
old
like,
is she? How old is she?
She's 12.
Okay.
She's 12, and I think she was at some 12-year-olds you may not show it to. It depends on the kid and individually. And I knew she was ready to go, and so she loves the Scream franchise, and she is so. And so it's been a fun experience, man. It's been very heartwarming because my wife hates horror. So it's like it's like I have someone in the house now.
You can bond. You can
Yes.
bond over these things. I mean, Nate and his son. I mean, I love all the. He tells me every time, "Oh, I finally showed my son this movie," and I'm like, "Yes." I don't know. They're so fun. That one. I mean, I was 10 or 11 when I started watching horror movies, and they've changed my life in such great ways. I mean, if I didn't like horror movies when I was a kid, I don't know if I mean, I think that's when you should start watching them, because I saw all of I'm dating myself, but I saw all of the Friday 13 movies except for the first one in theaters, and it was, I can't even tell if they came out every year. Like it was what I looked forward to. It was like my, that's all those and David Copperfield Magic Special. Those were the things that those were the things that changed my life. And I waited for every Friday sequel, every Copperfield movie or special. Yeah, because everything is so fantastic in your mind when you're a kid, everything. And there was also no judgment. Does your daughter not does she say, "Oh, that's stupid," or was like every movie was just better than the last? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, she's like eating it up. She like loves it. She's like the number one, biggest fan outside of myself in the house for sure. And to the point where she's again memorizing these lines. We've watched each of these movies now. We pretty much go 1 through 5 every week. We watch them again every week.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's like regular. So regularly. In fact, Scream 5 was playing earlier before the stream tonight. I mean, we're just always on in the background now.
Cool.
And it's so great. And we'll watch another show and they'll say a line or something, or somebody will say, "I'll be right back," and she'll look at me and she'll smile. And I'm like, awesome.
Don't say that. Please don't say that. For God's sake, don't say that.
don't break the rules. But it's just such a fun experience. And now and like me, she's loves slashers. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna start you with the cream of the crop and let you avoid all of those ones that are, let's just say, less than stellar movies that we know are out there. We've all seen at times that were just duds. And so I started with Scream first day one, and then we went on to Urban Legend and Valentine, and Then we did You're Next, and anyway, a whole bunch of stuff. But Scream has reigned supreme in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Anthony, right? Anthony,
Oh
your
yeah, my
favorite scary movie.
You know, it's really fun. I had a conversation about this the other day with a really good friend of mine, and for years I've said Halloween's my favorite scary. I mean, like a lot of people, everyone loves Halloween, but that was the movie that, when I say changed my life, I remember seeing it, and it's just been I love Halloween. But it's funny, I watch Halloween 2 more, and it's kind of like, well, you might have your favorite movie, but I don't know. I would, and I love Black Christmas, but I love Halloween too. I can watch it. It's like, oh, let's watch a Halloween movie. Let's watch 2. I find myself watching it more. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it like, what does favorite mean? Does it mean the best, or just kind of like your guilty pleasure? Or because I mean, I know that Halloween 2 technically might be an inferior film to part 1. It didn't do it near. I mean, it was the ongoing. It was the second part of something that changed the horror genre. Do you know what I mean? It didn't define horror like Halloween did, but I still think it's a great movie. So what do you guys think? Do you think favorite means the best, or just kind of what you just prefer?
I think it's what you prefer. I think favorite can be anything. Like my favorite movie could be, Blair Witch 2, but it doesn't mean it's the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I'll give you an example for myself. One of my favorite Friday movies is Jason X, Jason in Space.
I love Jason X. Yeah.
Come on, man. What's not to love about that, right? It's fun.
It's got one of the best kills in like all of horror.
Oh,
it just, when he's got the stuff that freezes you. I can't remember. I don't even know what it is.
Yes.
The cryogenic thing stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that in theaters, I was just buzzing for like a week. I just was like, that was so great. And they shot it so great. It looked like what it would have looked like. It was mean, but fun. I don't know. I thought it.
Yeah.
I would say in all of horror, the Friday films have a bunch of those. Just very memorable kills in the entire genre.
And who can forget Crispin Glover breaking out and busting the moves in Friday 4? Come on, man. Man. And I normally don't do this when I have a special guest on the program, but whenever I'm just hanging with the Cravenites, when people give super chats, I usually play like a crazy clip, or something that, just as a funny thing. But I'm going to break the rule and do it just one time, because we're talking about Crispin Glover, and I had to change the music. But you know what? Living in the moment, we're flying by the seat of our pants. Here's Crispin Glover breaking it down for us from Friday 4. There you go.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Of course.
Have you ever tried to do that in private with nobody looking? Because I have. I mean, not lately, but years ago. I'm like, how did he do that again?
I love that. I haven't. Nate, have you? Have you tried it?
Oh, come on.
I'm going to now, though.
Oh man, I think I may do that after the stream as well. Why not? Why not? Oh man, gosh. Also, real quick, we got a couple more super chats, and then we're gonna get back to the Scream action here with Nate and Anthony. Phil's Creepy Videos. What's up, Phil? Says, if you could have lunch with any actor or actress, alive or dead, who would you have lunch with and why? Well, that's a good question. Whoever wants to go first, you guys.
I'll go first. I would love to have met Donald Pleasance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think he kind of didn't have his run with all the conventions, like everybody. I know he did a few, and I only know of one person that has his autograph on I think it was a Halloween 4 poster. But for me, he was my favorite person in the whole, Halloween franchise. And to me, he was Halloween. So I was like, oh, I remember when I was a kid, I'm like, is he going to find him? You know, I was rooting for Loomis. You know, yeah, Laurie was in jeopardy and Michael was fascinating and I loved it all. But I remembered he was who I got behind. And still in 2 and 4 and 5 and even in 6, I think he's the glue. And by the time H2O came out, he was noticeably absent. And it was, I love H2O, but
yeah,
there's something missing. You know, there's that triangle, Laurie, Michael, Loomis.
yeah,
But I found him to be very interesting. He was such a great career, and I would have loved to have met him. You know, had dinner with him and bought him some booze, which apparently he loved. He was always swigging on set, apparently. But I had questions for him. You know what? What was it like to be like Donald Pleasance? Like, what is it like to be Loomis? You know, and I just have so many questions for him. So that's who I'd want to meet.
That's a great answer. And I would ask if I could pick up the tab if I could come with you.
Oh yeah,
because I would love to meet him too.
Yeah.
All right, Nate. Well, how about you, man? Anybody sticks out as number one?
It's really hard to pick one. But I would say like one that comes to mind, and I don't know that it's necessarily this person for sure, but it's just like the general idea. Somebody like Clint Eastwood, just because like the history that they have in Hollywood, the stories they must have, like for as long as he's been. I mean, the guy's like 97 years old now. As long as he's been working, everything he's done in his whole career, like he's got to have like amazing stories.
Yeah.
From every decade of filmmaking,
Yeah.
you know, like, I would just love to hear some of his stories from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and just, you know, somebody like that is what I'll say.
So much knowledge, and I mean, my gosh, if you go to IMDb and look up his credits, whoa, that's like looking at an encyclopedia of film in the film industry I mean, because he was acting when he was so young, and all these, like I say, all these decades that we've crossed over, and I mean, that's a great choice too, man.
And movies have changed so much. Like he watched the entire industry change. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
that is really. Mine is going to be one who has passed away as well. And Anthony, this is someone that you've actually had, and maybe Nate, maybe both of you for that matter, had the opportunity. And I'm going to ask you more about this individual a little bit later on. Is Wes Craven? It's definitely Wes Craven. That's the one who I would love to spend an hour with him and just talk, and pick his brain, get his thoughts on things, and just understand him more. Learn to know him better, because never had the privilege of meeting him, of course, but I've got to watch a lot of interviews and things, and it's interesting how much you learn from others who knew him, and I found that to be so rich with this channel. That's been such a blessing, because being able to, like the both of you, for example, being able to talk to you about your time with him, it just helps me to feel like I know him better. And with Lynn McCree, who played Maureen Prescott, of course, she's turned into a really great friend. She's been on the channel like 3 times. She's coming back next month, and we talk offline. She's learning from her. Nancy Ann Ritter, from The Girl in the Bathroom. All of the stories that she shared with me are just really is cool, to hear, and how consistent the feedback of Wes is from everybody. It's all the same. It's like there's such respect, nothing, not a disparaging word I've heard yet spoken of him.
Yeah.
And
recently I crossed paths with a guy named Jeffrey Fenner. Does that name ring a bell at all?
Jeffrey Fenner, not off the top of my head.
Right, me either. I had no idea, and I had a friend of mine introduced me, and he was Wes's development guy for 10 years, from 89 to 99. Whoa. And went to an office, worked with him every day, and he came over to my house with some VHS tapes and showed me, popped in. I have a VHS player over here. He popped in a VHS tape that has not been seen since when did was it People Under the Stairs come out? What was that year?
That was 91, I believe.
Okay. They went to Milan. I think it was Milan. Him, one of the producers, Marianne Madalena, and Wes went there for a week for a premiere of this movie in Milan. And they brought a video, like a VHS camcorder. Was that what it's called? A camcorder.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for the whole trip, they taped each other. So they were passing the camera and they were, taping each other. And this was a VHS that has never been seen by anybody because it was a private thing. And,
wow.
They went to an amusement park and like Wes is on this, he's wearing a suit at an amusement park, which I thought was interesting. And he's on that, that pirate ride that goes swings like this and then comes, like, down like this. So like and he's and someone's filming. I think it was Jeffrey because he was with Marianne, and they just kind of watch him, and he's laughing and they're passing the camera around, and then they're at some. They're one of seeing one of the most famous statues in Italy, and then they go to this garden, and it was just really cool to see him just as Wes.
Wow.
Not like Wes. They weren't introducing him as Wes, the master of horror. It was like at one point he's in an elevator and he's got the camera and he turns it to himself and he goes, "I think I hear the cables breaking," and it was just kind of gave you an idea of his sense of humor. It was great. It was great to see that. And he just seemed like, on top of being an incredible talent, he was also a very fun person to be around,
Wow, that's so cool. What a nice privilege it was, that you got to see that. That's a really cool thing, man. Wow. Dude,
could you imagine working for him every day? I mean,
no.
Like I'd wonder if the luster would wear. Well, it probably would. You'd probably be like, okay, I have work to do. But he was such a force, so influential. Three pivotal times, and it's just he just seemed like such a great. Also everybody that I know that knew him, that I've interviewed for him, always said the same thing, that when he always cultivated this sense of camaraderie, and on set it was always a great time. There was such respect for him and for everybody else. And I don't know a lot. I think a lot of filmmakers are the opposite. They're very abrasive. They're very demanding. They're kind of like divas, and he never was.
Yep.
That's what I heard. I mean, I'm certain there's an exception to the rule somewhere, but
I don't know. You would think, but I don't even know, because Lynn McCree talked about her time with Scream 3. She filmed for 3 weeks. She was on set, and she gave stories about what it was like, and how calm he was. Like everything is going. He's just steady, constantly steady calmness.
Yeah, I can't imagine him angry, actually.
Yeah, and she told a story. I'd love to tell you, because in case you haven't heard this, she said there was one day that she said, I walked in, I just arrived, I wasn't really paying attention. They had the chairs, those little pop-up chairs, they sit on.
Yeah.
And she said, I sat down and was just kind of, watching everything going on. And just, I see Wes comes over and he sits down next to me, and he was on the phone, and he seemed a little agitated, if you will, on the phone call a little bit or whatever. It wasn't like ugly or anything. It was just like he wasn't having a phone time. And so he hung up, and she said, Wes, are you okay? Is everything okay? And he said, oh yeah. He said, it's just going to be a Weinstein day.
Oh, okay.
And it was a call.
Yeah, I think everybody accepts the Weinsteins. There was a lot of contentious stuff between them. Yeah.
But it's interesting though.
But that's how he said it. That he said it's a Weinstein day.
Yeah, he said it's just going to be a Weinstein day, and he walks away, and then he said, she said, Wes, she said, can I ask you something? What's the secret to you remaining, maintaining your calmness about yourself? And he said he stopped for a minute, and he turned around because he was starting to walk away. He turned back and he said, perspective. And he turned around and walked off. That was it. One word. Perspective is how he kept his composure. And it was just what a wise moment. And I'll never forget it. And then she said what she didn't realize when she got up to leave. She looked at her chair. It was Wes's director's seat she was sitting in. She said, I was mortified. She said, I was in Wes's chair, and he just sat down next to me. He never mentioned it one time. And there are some directors, guys, that would have fallen off the handle. You're in my chair, your seat.
Yeah.
It.
Or you're fired,
Or even worse.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. You're fired.
Well, it's just, at the end of the day, the perspective is just a chair. The fact that it's got your name on it just means you have a chair. That's all it means. There's nothing special about the chair. It just has your name on it. So,
just a chair. But yeah, that was anyway. It's just it's just such someone you love to you always say be careful when you meet your heroes
Oh
because
yeah.
you never know until you know, and it's just such a nice thing to know that while I never got to meet him, knowing more about him from those that did, it just reinforces that, man. It's good to know that I can root for him and I can really respect him at every level
Yeah.
of his person. So um, all right. Real quick, guys, we do have a guest coming on here. I'm going to be adding in just a little bit. But before we do, I want to get this one more super chat out. And I do see a couple more here. So, Mrs. Gonza, thank you. I'm going to get to both of your super chats in just a second. But real quick, October Boy sent in $2. Thank you so much for your help, support of the channel. Says, hey, guys, what do you think of the shrine? So, just real quick about the Scream 6 trailer with that shrine image. What do you think, guys? Anthony, you
Go
want to lead
first,
us?
Nate.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting to see. I kind of already was clued in that there was going to be something like that in the movie. Actually seeing it was awesome, but there was a little part of me that was like, guys, I have half the stuff in that shrine room. Why did you not reach out to me? Like, what?
It's true.
What
That's
did you
so
have
funny.
to go through to find exactly Jill's shirt and pants from 2011 when I have them in my house? I could have just sent them, and yeah.
Oh, bro, honestly, Nate, when I saw that first time, I said, well, I know that's a replica because I know who's got the real one. Oh, man. And I have a theory about that. You know what? Before I give that, let me go to Anthony. I'm going to go with you guys to speak first. So, what did you think about the shrine
I just felt
image?
the same. I just thought it was. Again, I didn't want to see it. It was just I wish I hadn't seen it, but I didn't think. I mean, I guess I didn't notice that Nate, you own half that stuff. I guess I just didn't notice. Now that I think about it, yeah, they couldn't have all been. Why didn't they call you, Nate? They know you. They should have just called you and said, "Send us all the shit," because then it would have been
heavily insured. Heavily insured.
That's probably why.
All right.
That could be, honestly. Yeah. Oh, well, and I got a theory about the whole shrine thing. And I actually did a video earlier just today, basically showing every Easter egg, like everything that's in there that I can detect. But one of the things, my theory on that is the only way that seems plausible is if those are stab movie props and replicas that they've created as a shrine to Ghostface.
Oh,
that's my theory on that. Because there's a fax machine from Scream 3 that's charred. The fax machine would have been completely melted in that explosion.
Oh.
And so I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the real thing. These are stab movie props or recreations. That's my theory on that. I don't think they're the real things at all. Yeah.
Yeah, if something is impossible to preserve, then what is it? Where did it come from? And if it's a replica or something, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, just my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm willing to suspend disbelief. If they tell us in the movie these are the real things, I'm not going to bust to give them a hard time. I'm willing to go there, but I'm hoping that they're like, oh no, we're not going to try to make you climb that mountain. We're gonna tell you these are replicas. You know, I'm hoping, guys, because it'll be super easy to accept, but I'll take it either way. It's all right because it looks so darn good. All right, real quick, guys, we're going to get into some other things here. And Mrs. Gonzo, I'm going to get to your super chats in just a moment. But I do want to bring on someone who is a friend of the channel, a pillar of the community, and a huge supporter of mine. And he also is a filmmaker. And we're going to be talking a lot more about his film next Saturday. So be sure you come back for that. But he is the man that basically helped bring me to know Nate and Anthony. And if it wasn't for Brett, I don't know that I'd be able, even in this position tonight, to have you guys here. I probably not. So I'm real appreciative of all that Brett's done and continues to do for the channel. So guys, please bring him on. I had to bring him on. He wants to come say hello. I said, man, you betcha. I'm not going to say no to you. Please welcome Brett James Bishop. There he is. Hey, man.
Hey, Brett, how you doing?
Hello, creative consultant. How are you?
I love your Myers prop in the back.
Yeah, that's our stunt mask.
Is it? Can you show it to
Yeah.
us, or is it gonna ruin your
It's-
set?
I can see in a minute.
Yeah,
I'm like,
just-
what I'm thinking is, what am I blocking in my room? I don't want you to see.
Oh,
So maybe,
Very
so maybe I'll
strategically.
I'll stop the camera for a minute and go grab it in a second.
That's so funny.
But
dude.
you know, Anthony, now that you've been reintroduced to the Crispin Glover dance, I think you should just try it.
no.
I think just get up,
Whoa.
just give it a
dude.
try.
What kind of a super chat would that take?
It's so funny.
Oh.
I was saying to a friend yesterday, I can do a lot of things, but I can't dance. That is the one thing I am not gifted with. I am
That's me as well.
all the Massies. You watch
Mhm.
the men dance. It's like there's a whole Seinfeld episode about it. It's like it'll just play with your brain. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can do
that's
that.
why it was done in private.
But you can do magic, so that's the swing of it. So, and yeah, Nate, yeah, I don't know why they didn't call you about the props, man. I was like, did they ransack your house or just not care? So that was
Yeah.
weird.
What I found interesting too was somebody had posted on Twitter. I just saw it the other day. It's actually there was a girl on, I think it was Etsy or something, that she was making like replicas of Tatum's skirt from the first Scream, and she's been making them for years. And since the trailer came out, she was like, I can finally announce that they contacted me and bought a whole bunch of my skirts and stuff. And I'm like, why?
Oh,
Oh. Yeah, man. Is there
That's
her
cool.
skirts in there? And I mean, they even got Kenny's hat. Kenny's hat
Yeah,
from Scream
that's
1's
crazy.
in there. On
I'm excited to watch your video, Crave. I've been up at Sundance all day, so it's nice to be warm right now. So
yeah.
it was nice and clear skies, which means freezing. So it was fun. We had a good time. We were promoting the movie, so it was fun. But
Very cool.
Nice.
I need to watch the Shrine stuff. I'm really excited. I liked the thing
Yeah.
I saw that my favorite part of the Shrine. I don't know if that was a question earlier, but my favorite prop that they had was oh man, what's Casey Becker's boyfriend's name? Steve.
Stephen
they
Orth.
And they had the jacket taped to the chair. That's ridiculously awesome.
And duct tape on the mannequin's mouth. Even,
Oh yeah. I
which
just
was
thought
a nice
you go.
touch. Yeah.
it's like going into a museum or something with a Scream museum.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. Gonza, I promised I would get to your super chat. Thank you for being so patient. She asked the question, hello, random question. If you could be best friends with any character from the Scream franchise, who would you pick and why? By the way, great stream. Oh, awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Gonza. Oh,
God.
Nate, do you want to start us off or with this one or no?
That's a loaded question. Wow.
It is.
Oh.
Good thing is
I mean,
that
I gotta go with Sid. I gotta say Sydney.
Gotcha. Yeah. That is not a wrong answer.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I think for me it would be Tatum. I don't know. She just seemed like really fun. Well, like it's being best friends now or be like as a teenager. So you know what I mean? There's a big difference. Like Tatum now, I had nothing in common with, but as a teenager, I had friends like that. Those like kind of snarky, pretty, cute girls. You know, those were my friends in high school. So I'd probably be friends with Tatum for sure.
Ooh, that's another not wrong answer. I mean, she's great.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Brett, who would you pick, man?
Karen Kolchak, creepy Karen. That's who I would.
my
I'm kidding.
gosh.
I'm joking. No, I would. I don't know. I would. I don't know. Probably. The camera guy from 2. I don't know why I'm blanking on names today.
Joel.
Yeah.
Joel. Yeah.
Joel. I was saying Kenny.
Joel.
I'm all Kenny's not right. That's the first one. Yeah, Joel. He's an awesome guy and he knows when to bail. So.
Yeah, he does. He sure did. Yeah, it was cool that Wes let him do that instead of be killed. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
That was a good question.
that's a great question. Thank you, Mrs. Gonza.
Now I'm
And
thinking about like other franchises. You know, I'm like, who would I want to be? Like, I would love to have been like PJ or Linda's friend. You know, in
Oh, yeah.
Halloween, and like I'm thinking of
Mhm.
the Nightmare series. And
oh yeah,
good one.
bro, man, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Gonza. We appreciate it. Just for the record, in case anyone didn't know, I would be meeting with Stu Macher 100%. Got to. I'll just watch my
Living
back very
dangerously.
carefully. Yeah, it's a very, very dangerous meeting.
I can see you two palling around. There's a there's like
It was fun.
It was fun. Totally. Well, I mean, the guy, I mean, he visits me regularly.
I'm ready, baby.
I mean, he's always around, So
That's a great
um,
video.
that is a really great video.
awesome.
I wonder who put that one together, Brett James Bishop.
Watch,
Um,
watch the other stream, see the whole thing. It's fun.
yeah.
Some other time. Yeah.
Mrs. Gonza back with another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. So I'm sorry this has already been asked, but Anthony and Nate, can you please share your favorite and or funniest story from your Scream projects?
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm
They
excited.
have
to
the
hear
good
this.
questions.
Really good question.
Now you're like, I gotta go.
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of moments, but I don't know if I like Parker Posey's dog was peeing all over the apartment when we were doing, the interview.
No.
I had bought maybe $200 worth of food for the craft service table for Wes Craven when he came over, and I did the interview right here in my office.
So
I
cool.
draped it all in black. It used to be like a black
so
box
cool.
studio, and I shot a lot of interviews. So he knocked on the door, and it was amazing to see Wes Craven at my door.
Wow.
Yeah, with Laurie Metcalf, a whole bunch of people came right here.
I love that story.
Yeah, and so, but upstairs, so you can't see right behind my computer. There's a stairway that goes up to my kitchen, and I had, the makeup person. I had like shrimp and sandwiches and like all this food, and he just kind of walked by it and then got his makeup and then walked by. And I remember, like, I don't know, he was like, he didn't even see it, and I was like, it's not a funny story, but it just stands out to me. During the middle of his interview, the makeup person came downstairs and interrupted the interview. Like, she came downstairs and everybody, including everybody, looked, and she just kind of walked. She walked in front of the camera and was like, I'm so sorry, and she kind of laughed.
Like
It was the
walking out
most
of a movie
funny
theater.
professional thing to do. And Wes kind of smiled, and we just resumed. But I just remembered, like, I didn't know what to do in that moment. I was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, oh my God, stop it. I wish I had more time to think about it. There were a lot of things. Yeah, but those are just a couple of funny things, I guess, moments. Yeah.
And yet again, he didn't berate her like a prima donna or a diva
No,
director might have.
Yeah.
That's all. That's great. Well, man, you had me at Wes. I mean, you had me from that point forward, man. That was like, oh yeah, that's incredible, man. What? How cool is that? That's just, I mean, it had to feel. I know we talked a little bit about it last time, but it's worth revisiting. It had to be a very surreal feeling, Anthony, for Wes
to have him
in your house, and you're right there in your office.
Breathing the same air.
Well, it's funny. I'm, all my projects, we've interviewed a ton of people, and there's very few people I've actually been nervous around. Like, for some reason, I was so nervous around Dean Cundy, just so nervous and I realized it's because when I watched that movie, I think of him more than Carpenter and Hill. He created the look of the movie and Halloween 2 and everything. And so when I just realized, and he's a very non-threatening personality, very quiet, very kind of monotone kind of guy, but I was nervous. And Wes was another one. Like, I was just like, holy shit, Wes Craven. Like, it's very hard. JP Jones told me once, he was like, he worked on a lot of Wes's movies, and he had, he had friends over one night and said, oh, I invited Wes over for the first time. And his friends were like, Wes isn't coming over. Well, he's not coming over. And he's like, no, he's going to come over. So they're all going to watch a movie or something. And Wes knocked on his door, and the same kind of reaction. He walked in and said, hey, can I use your restroom? And he was in the restroom. All of his friends did the same thing. Oh my God, it's Wes Craven. And it's weird. Like, that's how I reacted. Like, my heart, was like, it's just weird. I mean, we knew everything was planned. We knew the questions, everything was, it wasn't a surprise. Like, oh my God, I bumped into Wes Craven once at a premiere. I just bumped into him, and that's your nerve. You get nervous in those moments.
Yeah.
But we were planning for him to show up. He didn't just knock on my door one day out of random, and I was still nervous. Yeah. So that was one of the, I guess that shows your appreciation for what they've done, and you don't want to do anything to put off somebody you respect. I think it's about respect and appreciation when those things happen.
Yes, and it's something that you just feel without out of controlling it. It's just there because it's real. That's how much you respect. And I mean, I get it, man. Now I can't imagine that how surreal that must have been. And my
Mm.
question is, when he left, did you feel like elated, like all of it just like hit you, like he was just here, or
Yeah.
of
Yeah, and then when you watch the footage and you're like, it's just a constant reminder. And we had built a set. I don't know if you remember, but we had like, so Ryan Turek is the director of it. And
Mhm.
so Ryan said, okay, we're going to create a set for Wes. And he's like, Crafts Day, Arts and Crafts Day. And we went and we bought this big piece of vinyl. Forgot where we got it, but it was this black vinyl. And he just wanted to just cut, make cuts in it and make flaps and everything. And we were afraid that he was going to be like, that's the set, like he wasn't going to like it. And there was all this anxiety about him coming there and how long can he be here? Because we had to talk about at that point all 3 movies because 4 was being made, and we were
Mhm.
told he can't talk about 4. So, but we had to cover 3 movies, and we had to ask him what was it like working with this actor and go through the cast. And so we were wondering, are we going to have enough time to capture this interview? What foods does he like? And then and it was my house, and I was like, is he going to be put off coming to my house?
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of anxiety, like, and that's a lot when you do an interview. There's a lot of that for kind of everybody, like. Also, we have landscapers here, and sometimes they come on odd days. And I had this other anxiety that maybe they were going to come right when we were doing his interview, and you're going to hear some leaf blower outside my door because
Oh,
that
no.
happened with the producer of the Hellraiser movies once. That like literally happened. I had to go
Oh.
out and tell him, "Can you please just shut up for 30 minutes? I'm doing an interview," and he did. But like there was a lot of anxiety, but
Yeah.
over more for him. And Ryan too. We were both like, "Oh my god, he's outside!" Because his assistant was calling, and they're like, "Well, we're parking. We're 10 minutes away," and then we're parking. It was kind of just like, And then at the end of the
Wow.
day, we had nothing to worry about because it was just a really good interview. And he wanted to talk about everything. He didn't feel like pressured or obligated. He was really engaged. He really wanted to talk about all the movies. That was great to see.
Wow, no
Awesome.
doubt. Yes.
And really quick, you can tell that with the interview. Like you can feel his enthusiasm
Oh, cool.
and all of that. So again, I watch that thing at least once a year. It's more like
Awesome.
it's more like 5, but
That's great. Yeah.
you can feel that energy. So
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but he got mad in the middle of the interview because he was talking about how the opening of Scream 2 was ruined because somebody released the pages online.
Oh,
And that's the only time I've seen him mad. I mean, I wasn't friends with him, but in the interview, he got visibly mad. And we were like, oh, great. I'm glad we got that clip because he looked at the camera and he says something to the person and, negatives of the person who screwed this whole thing out or, stole the pages essentially.
I hope you're happy a little.
That's how I know that he cared. Like when you think about like John Carpenter, I mean, he's talked about Halloween every day for how many years? I mean, it's just like you can understand when he's like, I'm not doing the interview. And I thought that Wes was going to be the same way, but he wasn't. He was really excited to talk about everybody and the whole experience. So I'm glad it comes through. That's his credit. It's not us. We would have captured whatever, but he gave that to us.
Yeah. And body language is huge.
But without you, we wouldn't have gotten it. So that's what's nice.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
It took a long time to get the interview too. He wasn't that easy.
I bet.
So, yeah.
Ooh, I'm so glad you did. We have it still to enjoy. That's the amazing thing is it's forever. So
yeah, I think it was probably one of his last lengthy interviews on Scream. I mean, he died 5 years after that, so I'm sure he talked about it, but it was a 3-hour interview. So.
Man, wow. And I have to ask you now that you teased it? Did he ever eat the shrimp?
No, he left. I ate it all over the course of a week.
Oh man!
Like, I had friends over. Come on. I mean, you don't understand. Like, see, that's what I mean. Like, what do you do for Wes Craven? You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't call and say, does he have any dietary preference? I just was like, let me just go out and buy all this shit. And you don't understand. The island is like in my kitchen. You don't not see it. You turn and you see the island, and like it was filled. There was coffee, and there was like, and he just didn't even bat an eye. He just walked right by it.
Oh dang!
Like, what?
That's awesome.
Well, you were
then
prepared,
did he think that I didn't like? I had to offer it to him, and did he leave going? Why didn't they offer me anything?
Where's my doggy bag?
Yeah. Could you package some of that to go, please?
Exactly. I think the makeup person was eating it while we were doing the interview. So I don't know.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. All right. That's awesome, Anthony. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome, bro.
For sure.
Nate, I'm excited to hear yours now. What do you have some funny stories or memories from your time on all the Steam Scream work you've done?
One that comes to mind immediately that Anthony will remember was being locked in the bath, being locked in the bathroom at Stu's house
What?
during Scream-a-Ween.
Oh
in his
no.
I laughed so
bathroom
hard.
attached
Oh
to
my God.
Stu's parents' house. Yeah, it was the morning we were all supposed to like leave, and I woke up and was so like, all right, I'm gonna get a shower like really quick because I want to spend like the last 2 hours like just enjoying the house. And I went in and got a shower. Thank God I brought my clothes in the bathroom with me.
Oh.
And I went to exit and the doorknob wouldn't turn. And I'm like, okay. And I'm turning and turning and turning and nothing. And I'm like, this is a problem because,
Oh.
you know, in order to access that it's the bathroom that Ghostface comes out of behind Billy when he stabs
Yeah.
Billy.
Yeah.
So in order to access that, you have to go into the master bedroom, which is where I was. And I couldn't even remember if I left the master bedroom door unlocked. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so now I'm looking out the windows of the bathroom that you see down in the yard, and I'm looking for people. Nobody's out there. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. There's
He's
no
like,
cell phone reception there. There's like
No, but you
cell
saw
phone
me. You saw me, remember?
So I'm like trying to call somebody. Nobody's like going through. And at one point, I just see Anthony just like walk in, drinking his coffee, and I'm like, oh.
I'm outside, like it's like a horror movie. I'm outside in the driveway, and packing up my car, and I'm walking, and he's behind me with my back is towards me. He's behind me screaming for me.
He was like leaving.
Oh,
I'm like, oh. So I ended up texting. But a text went through. I was able to text Maggie Blaine, Scream Queen on YouTube. And I was like, where are you guys? She's like, because they were staying in another house on the property. She's like, we're down at the house still. John just woke up. I'm like, I am locked in the bathroom. She's like, what? I'm like, get up here. So they all came, and what ended up happening, like the whole
doorknob fell off. The doorknob on the other side fell off.
Oh no.
And so Nate texted me, and then I texted the homeowner, who was available at all times of the day, and he didn't respond. So Nate was like just trapped in the bathroom, and then I don't know who opened it. Who
John, Maggie's husband.
So
he got like a screwdriver or something and was fiddling around with it, and eventually came open. But
Nate walked out, and we're all just laughing.
Oh.
So anyway.
Whoa.
That's a great story.
At least you, like you say, at least you could be clothed. Think how that would have felt if you hadn't had that.
Oh, yeah, because it's very private. It's like you go up that little staircase, and there's the bedroom. There's a little area you don't see in the movie over here. And
there's some areas of the movie that are like there's a library in the house you don't see. The house looks huge, right, in the movie, but then once you're in the house, it does look big, but it's like twice as big. Like there's so many rooms you really don't get the bathroom that Nate was locked in is a really big bathroom, but you don't really see it. And so, and even the bedroom that he was in, it looks so small in the movie, but it's actually a really big bedroom with a whole seating area. It's, oh my God, I don't know how big it must be. It's like a whole apartment. So, but you don't know that. It's just cheated, and you see this little thing. So,
wow.
But yeah, nice bathroom, but bad doorknobs.
Man, what a nice place. That whole house, man, the view behind there are just it's what a gorgeous house.
Yeah.
You know, wow, it was a perfect location, and and I appreciate that they tried to recreate the interior for 5, and it's serviceable, but there's nothing like that on location in Santa Rosa there with the property and the views and the man.
I had a picture of Nate, and I made a point of getting this picture of Nate walking into the kitchen for the first time, and he turned and had this smile, and I went, and I've got this amazing picture of Nate. It's bliss. it's like
that's so. Oh, I bet. Oh my gosh, I'd be like,
and that's what happened. People would walk in and cry. There'd be this, like this visceral, reaction.
Yep.
And you don't know. I mean, if you're I'm a location guy. I love visiting locations, and Nate too. Obviously, when Nate was visiting, we went to go see the Pee Wee Herman house, which I didn't know was in Pasadena. And Nate's like, "You got to go," and it was the same thing. You're like, "Oh my god," there's something really, really moving about it.
It is. It's it means so much to it. It's really important, and it's always been important to me since I saw it in the theaters. Thankfully, the week after it opened, I saw it in January '97, and I've been able to see all the theatrical releases from all of them. And I heard it impacted me so much on that opening night, and I still remember the theater, how I felt walking out, driving home, calling people on my clunky, cell phone that was the size of my hand,
right,
and like $1 a minute, and I didn't care because I'm like, I'm gonna call people. Yeah,
they were big. Those phones were big.
This is your big Zach Morris phone.
Yes, basically. But and it's interesting how, and one thing I'm so blessed about to be able to have this YouTube channel and to the community that has grown here is that I've come to know so many people that share that passion, and you start to see how important these films are. Like, they really do mean something. They're not just entertainment. There's a lot of people that are in difficult places in their life, and this movie comes out, and that movie helps them get through it because it gives them something they don't have anywhere else. They have control, and I'm telling you, this stuff is very real. And I talk to people all the time about the impact that these films have had on their lives. And it's why I love doing ranking streams, because you'll see all 5 movies ranked differently by so many people. Someone will put the 3rd movie as number 1, the 5th movie, it'll be all over the place, because all of these movies speak to all of us differently at different times in our life.
Yep.
And
very true.
That's a beautiful art. That's
art.
What
I liked about they incorporated that in Scream 5. They said, these movies are important to people. Yeah. And that's, if you're a horror fan, you understand that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, even when I heard that line, even though he was a psychopath, that line made sense to me.
You connected to him in that
could
line.
Connect to that.
Toxic fandom. What the hell is that? These movies are important to people. It's like,
Yeah. 100%. Real quick, got a couple more super chats coming in here. 2 boys in their scary pops. What's going on, man? Now he's thinking that the scene with Gail, whenever he swipes it after the bookcase there in the trailer, very similar to the Stu knife wipe. So Nate and Anthony. So Nate, let me start with you. Tell me, man, what do are you feeling any Stu Macher vibes in this trailer anywhere?
Not particularly, mainly as far as the knife swipe goes, just because pretty much that trait has carried, through all the killers, through all the films, which some people have said, how would they even know one did, but obviously it can, suspension of disbelief. You can imagine that the killer does it in the Stab movie. So that's what prompted Mickey to do it, and then Roman does it, and it just kind of goes from there. So no, seeing a knife swipe doesn't make me think anything other than it's Ghostface.
Yeah. I could see it working. I'm not sure I'd be satisfied with that, because I don't know. I just kind of feel like, well, that's obvious to me.
Okay.
It's a little obvious, but I could see it. I could see them going down that road.
He's happy about it, let me tell you.
What about you?
Well, for me, I think I really do. Here's the way I've described it lately, is that, and I'm talking more bigger picture than just the knife swipe. I do think the knife swipe obviously has that signature look, but we even saw Sam do that after she killed Richie, but so I do think it's a tradition for Ghostface for sure. But I will say this, I feel the way that James and Guy and Radio Silence 2, bringing it to the screen, have laid out this film, the potential with the aged mask, which I want us to get to in just a second. We got to talk about that mask, guys. The aged mask, which I really, and Nate, I want to get your expert opinion, because you are, when it comes to Ghostface costumes, Nate, Nate is the authority. He's in my mind. There's no one better at it, and so um, all of the like they're setting up this amazing foundation of what could be an eventual reveal of Stu in 6 or 7. And I'm almost feeling like if they don't follow through and do
Yeah.
that, it's almost a disappointment. It's almost a letdown. Not saying that I'm not going to like the movies, but it's going to be like, why take us all the way to the edge and then like yank us back and say, psych, you know? Like, sorry. I don't know, guys. Does that make any sense? That's kind of how I
Yeah.
feel right now. I'm like, I don't know that it's going to be him. It may not be, but I'm just thinking, what an opportunity to do it. If you're going to do it, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, thank you, two boys and their scary pops. And let's talk about that real quick. And I do have another super chat, but we'll get to in just a second here, guys. Let's talk about this, Nate. I want to pick your brain, man. I've been dying to have this discussion. We see this aged mask, and I sat down and pulled screenshots from all the films side by sides, did all the investigative work I could do to try to see if it's an actual older model of mask. And the best I can compare it to is more of a Scream 4 era mask is what it looks like to me. But I want you're the man, you're the expert. So how do you feel about that aged mask? Do you think that is, are they trying to say this is an OG Billy or Stu era mask? Or do you think, what are your thoughts on it?
I personally think it's supposed to be Billy's mask.
Okay.
It's my understanding that it's basically what it is one of the 25th anniversary masks that they just removed the shroud and painted it up to make it look aged.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I know a lot of people have, said, why didn't they just, they're such experts, like the directors are such fans, why didn't they just, buy a Fantastic Faces mask off eBay and use that? I don't know, but my personal theory on that is that they might not have necessarily been allowed to use Fantastic Faces mask in the movie. They kind of have to do whatever Funworld says when it comes to Ghostface, and there's a chance that Funworld potentially was just like, we want you to use something that's available, not necessarily, an old like mold and version that we don't even make anymore. Now, I don't know that for sure. That's my theory as to why they wouldn't use one of the original masks. It's the only thing that makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah, and they did. I will say this, that they've done such a great job with that mask, licking it. I love the look of it. Like it's the cracks and the missing latex or whatever on the left cheek there. I mean, it's just it just looks tough. But I figured that they're gonna try to tell us that is Billy's mask, is what I was feeling the same way, but I want to see what you thought. And I'm willing to say, okay, I'll go. I know it's not like the peanut mask, or they call it sometimes, or the old, the original mask they used in the Casey scene, and then then they had to switch mask in the movie. And I did the side by sides of those. I'm like, it is not that. That is not that mask for sure. But again, not everyone's going to be doing that. I mean, the average or the casual fan, mainstream fan, they're not going to be doing side by side breakdowns and pulling up screenshots and stuff like that. And so I get that.
My reaction to the mask was, why was it aged? It's not that. How it's been
25 years. Yeah.
Something with 26 years, something like that. Yeah. I wouldn't think it. I mean, I've never seen an aged Ghostface mask. They don't typically age, right? I mean,
they get yellow. That's about it. Yeah.
They get yellow. So I'm wondering why it's aged the way that it has. I love the look of it. Just my question is, like, why would it, like, where was it? I mean, a lot of people just kind of throw masks in. I don't know. I want to know why it's aged. That's, I understand why the Myers mask aged, even in zombies movies, like it was under the floorboards in the house, and like, maybe, I don't know, but even still, like, why is it cracked and everything? So I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of me, I was thinking that they're probably doing that for just effect, where when everyone sees, they're gonna be like, "Oh, that's that old mask."
Yeah.
Like that's an original. But you're right. I mean, it probably would not really look that way. But I don't
Yeah.
know. Deborah Hill, like you said, the Myers mask, throw it under the bed. She was a smoker. I mean, who knows after
Right. I mean,
25
yeah,
years?
but also the Myers mask was 40 years old. So
That's
I
a good
mean,
point. That's a
you're
good point.
kind of going like, well, it's 40 years. 25 just feels
True.
young to me, but I don't
True.
know. I don't
I'm
know.
thinking it just looks cool. That's why they did
That's a
it.
great photo right there.
Look
I
at that
love that.
shot. Look at that. That is phenomenal.
That is, how did they do that? You know what I mean? Like,
Man.
you never maybe in some of the artwork and stuff, but like in the movies, it's hard to get that
Yeah.
look, like he's this ghost, this apparition or something,
They absolutely need
Yes.
to make that into a statue that you can purchase.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be amazing to have. Full size. I'm just kidding.
I'm not. Let's go. Why not?
That's true.
6 feet tall. Let's get it done. Now, Nate, I want to ask you now also about the robes. Now, and if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about, I know because you consulted on the 5 with the robes, the materials, everything, right? So what do you see them using for 6? Are they using, like, do you feel, is this one of the 5 robes here that they used?
Yeah.
Or you feel
It looks, I'd say 100% the same to me, from what I can tell in that picture. And I was told that was kind of one of the reasons that, some stuff has leaked out. You're starting to see some cast wardrobe that survived the COVID filming kind of make its way into collectors' hands little by little, but you don't see anything from Ghostface really. But I was told that they basically kept all that stuff for 6. Like they kept all the robes. So they're reusing a lot of them for 6.
Okay. Wow. And the mask is one other thing I want to get y'all's opinion on. In the trailer, we see the aged mask, is what I'm calling it, the aged mask. But we also see there's another ghost face, at least one other one, that's wearing what I call the new white, the ultra white, or I don't know what the proper name, Nate, is for the new mask, but the new, like a Scream 5 type mask. So in my mind, now it could be one person dressed in multiples at different times, sure, but I think we have one shot in the trailer where Sarah and Tara and are back to back, and that's not Sarah, sorry, Sam is looking at a ghost face. Tara's probably looking at one too. So we got at least 2. So the mask that we see that's clean, is that a Scream 5 mask carryover as well?
It looks like it to me, yeah.
Okay. Man, dude, I was hoping you were gonna be like, man, I managed to pull out something here that I've been keeping a secret, and and like pull this mask out, like Kevin Williamson when he was
Actually, it's this one.
there,
right
like
here.
that, there, just like right there. Like, what's gonna pull up?
I wish I had. I wish I had my ghost face mask right here. I would have just done it.
Dang it. That'd be so awesome.
Next time.
I've always thought that RJ was going to try and introduce one of the other Fun World masks because they've done so many of them. And I thought at some point they're going to pull out another. I mean, there'd have to be a reason for it, but and they've never done it.
Well, when those pictures first leaked of the aged mask, they were kind of like not really great quality, so it was kind of hard to tell. And a lot of people thought it was one of the zombie masks.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, they're finally incorporating that. Okay,
which obviously now we know it's not. But it definitely is based off of that, if you ask me, because it's very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then a friend of mine who Killjoy Jake, he did a fan Scream film that came out last month, and they used the devil mask, the devil mask, Scream face mask, or ghost face mask.
All they have to do is establish a fun world in the movie, and it's like, oh, now there's these like, everyone wants to. I mean, obviously this is a real mask in a real world within the movies, and I know it's Father Death, right? Isn't it like what the company behind it? Nate would know that. What's the name of the company that makes it in?
Well, it's Bergstrom Costumes, the first one,
right?
And then the second one, it's like Rousey Costumes, something weird.
Oh, okay, right. But like all they'd have to do is say, oh, they came out with this other, devil mask or chrome mask or something. But like it wouldn't be hard to do, you know what I mean? So like RJ, you would like ask him, like, why did you make all of these? Like you don't see an orange Michael Myers mask or a neon green or a Ukraine Myers mask, but you see a Ukraine Ghostface mask and you're like, I don't get it, but they sell. So I would think that there'd be some effort, at least on Funworld's part, to capitalize on that, since they pretty much are beholden, the filmmakers are beholden to his mask and his demands. He could say, listen, I won't license it unless you bring in, the rainbow mask or something. I would love to see another mask in the movies personally. So as long as the black and white one is there. So
yeah, the Scarecrow mask is another one. Yeah, there's some interesting variants out there. Now we're going to start to wrap up, and I know it, man. I swear we could go all night long, and still.
This needs to be a trilogy.
This definitely needs to be a trilogy.
Well, the movie's coming out in a month and a half, so.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Jump on. Let's do it.
Dude, yeah, if you guys would be open to returning after the movie comes out, I would love for us to talk about
that'd be insane.
the whole movie and just get into it. But we're going to start. They're already actually staying longer than, and I want to be respectful of their time so that they will come back. And like, oh no, we can't go back to that dude. He keeps us there all night.
2 minutes too late. Never again.
Seriously. So we are going to start wrapping up, but I did have one more super chat I wanted to bring in because I promised you that we would really quick, and then we're going to talk about some projects that I want you guys to be aware of tonight. Real quick, Mark sent in a couple of $1 super chat stickers. So thank you, Mark. Just giving us a tip tonight, saying he's enjoying the show. We appreciate that, man. Thanks for supporting
what was
the
the
channel.
Sticker? What was the sticker?
It didn't. It was nothing.
It doesn't
there.
show
It
us.
was just,
okay. Sometimes it doesn't show us, but you can see it, right?
No,
okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It's just a donation.
Cool.
And then the One-Eye Cliff guy sent in a $5 super chat, and he wanted to ask us, I think Scream 6 will kill at the box office.
Yeah.
Nate and Anthony, do you think we'll get Scream 7 next year?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no way it's not coming. There's no way.
I agree.
It's a cash cow, and the studios are having issues, and if people are coming to the theater and coming to see these movies, they will. I did hear that unfortunately horror is kind of on the downswing now because it's very saturated. There's so many projects that are in development, and there's so many slashers and things like that. So it's kind of, but if you're a Halloween or a Scream or any of those big name top echelon franchises, those are the ones they bank on because they're pretty much guaranteed. So for that reason alone, I mean,
Nate, do you agree also? I think it's a done deal.
Yeah, unless they try to follow like what Scream 1 was 96, Scream 2 was 97, and then they took like a 2-year break before they went to work on 3. But I mean that different times. So well, I mean, and that's the other thing, because Radio Silence has been hired to do a remake of Assault on Precinct 47, I think it is, or I may be butchering. You know what I'm talking about.
13.
What's it? No. Escape from New
York.
New York.
Oh,
gosh.
okay.
Different one. Yeah. And so I don't know what the time frame is for them to work on that, but if that's like next year, they may not be able to do a Scream 7 until 25.
Well, I wonder if they got Jenna Ortega signed for 3 already, because if they didn't, that's going to cost them a lot of money. After that, she's huge. Or if she survives this one, who knows? So.
If she even survives this one, that's right. That's the other thing. And real quick, Two Boys and their Scary Pops coming in with a super chat says, what inspired you to be a producer? So Anthony, why don't we start with you on that?
I'll tell you what inspired me. My Halloween convention in 2003, my Halloween Returns to Haddonfield event. It was a live event bringing together all the Halloween actors and producers and filmmakers from all the Halloween movies. And I wasn't a producer when I did that. It was just I was a fan and hadn't met anybody in Hollywood really. And what inspired me was that we had taped all the interviews on stage, and we were bringing the actors up and taping interviews with them, because what I wanted to do was sell a DVD on my fan website called Myers Museum just to say, hey, if you couldn't come, you can at least buy this really cool, like, video DVD of it. And then that quickly turned into, no, we can go to Anchor Bay and make this, a big thing over there. And I had gotten to know the Halloween producers because they hired me to run their website. So that's what inspired me to become a producer. And then I saw, well, if I could do this for Halloween, I could do it for Friday the 13th. And I could, that's what happened. So I would never have really thought about it, but I sort of fell into it and I loved it and I was good at it. And, things happen in life where you're like, you just live your life and go where your passion leads you. And then I always think, like, if you're good at something, and like if you have a passion for something and you happen to be good at it, you've got it made. Like if you love to sing but you can't sing, you're fucked. It's like, oh, sorry,
I'm sure you're fine. Well, and if it doesn't work out, with producer, if something happens, you just know how to provide a good spread of food, so you can always fall back.
Exactly. I was going to catering. Like, no problem.
Food service industry.
That's right. We always need a craft table, man.
But that's pretty much my answer. If I hated it, I mean, like when I say producing, so the event was one thing, but then when we had to make it, we had to make 24 Years of Terror. How the hell do you make a documentary? Like, I didn't know. There were so many things I didn't know. I was ignorant to every phase of it. But what I did was I surrounded myself with talented people, and I was there every day. I sat with the editor every day. I would work because I had a full-time job then. I worked till 3, and then I'd go into Hollywood and I would sit with him until like 10 at night. And I'd buy him dinner and we would sit there. And
that's the life, man.
It was great. It was great. It was a lot of fun. And I learned and I fell in love with it. And I went, oh my God, I could actually do this. So that's what happened.
Cool.
Phenomenal. And Nate, do you have any more you want to add? Do you want any for your at all as far as, I know you've been involved in a lot of projects. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, pretty much just meeting Anthony and, getting to know him. And he was my inspiration to want to do stuff like that and do producing, and kind of taught me, what it was. Cause I can remember one of the first things he said to me about producing was like, nobody really, like, everybody knows what a director does and they know what the writer does. And a lot of people don't really know what the producer does. And I'm like, I really don't know either. So I taught me, and I'm like, yeah, I think I want to do that. So, and
I still don't know. No,
oh, that's cool. That's so awesome. Well, there's definitely I definitely feel a chemistry and a bond between the two of you. In our 2 times that you guys have been here now, and I can tell it's a real thing. So that's really awesome, man. We need more of that in this world, for sure. JT says, excited for you, Scream fans. Thanks as always. Thank you, JT. That's awesome. Okay, guys, we're going to transition now into talking about, real quick, as we start to really, we're going to wrap, but we don't want to end this stream without some important things to talk about. So Nate, you've been posting some videos, my friend, of some interview footage, and I would please tell us what's going on with these Scream interviews. They are amazing.
Anthony can explain what they are, because
okay.
Yeah, I'll have you.
Yeah, okay. So I'll be brief. When you film a documentary and you do interviews with people, you always overshoot. There's no way to use all the footage. Think about it. If you have a 90-minute interview with 90 interviewees, you're not going to use a lot of footage. So there's always stuff that's left over. And for Scream, I can't remember. I can't remember how many interviews we had. 50, 60. I don't know. But like with Wes, he talked for 3 hours. So there's all this stuff that you have to leave out. Well, a lot of that ends up as bonus features. So if you pick up any one of my projects, you'll see there's like bonus features all over it. And that's where all that cut footage is. Well, when we gave the documentary to Miramax, I gave them all the bonus features. I gave them everything I had, and they didn't use any of them. They just put the documentary onto the Blu-ray that they had released. So I released this, which was just a 2 DVD set that we designed that had Blu-rays in it, and I've been selling it. But I figured, we're in this age of like YouTube and all of that. So I said to Nate, why don't you just take them and upload them onto your site, so that I want people to see it. It's not about money. It's about like, I want people to see the extended interview of the West. I want people to see, Dean Farwell, and I want them to hear Roger Jackson's crazy. That guy went, by the time we interviewed him, he wasn't showing his face a lot. So he did a telephone interview, which we found interesting the way that we used it. But he was kind of crazy in it. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I ever want to meet this guy. He sounds like he'll kill you. Like he really has this dark, sinister side. And it's all on this bonus feature. So Nate, have you posted that one yet, Nate, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay. So that's what they are.
So awesome. It's these, and unless you have one of these, limited DVDs that Anthony has, you've never seen these before. I mean, people have not seen this footage regularly or is readily available.
People still don't even, they don't even know it exists. And so every now and then people will come, and they'll find it and they'll go, what are you talking about? We brought them to the Scream events that Nate and I produced. And people were like, what is this? I'm like, oh my God, what do you have to do? Like I did Facebook ads. I did and they're still, unless it's on the still Screaming or the Scream 3 film set or 5 film set, whichever version you have, they just feel like that's the definitive place for stuff. But I was like, no, I'm kind of waving over here. And I own the footage. So Miramax doesn't own, I only license to them the cut of the documentary. So I own everything. And I thought, I'll just sell it, and we sold a whole bunch of them, but that's what it is. So if you want, it's still screamingbonus.com. So if you go to screamingbonus.com, you'll see what the package is and all of the, all of the people. But go to Nate's site instead and watch them. You can buy a copy of it, but you can see them right now tonight after this if you go to Nate's channel.
Ooh, so guys, so definitely Nate has got these. They're posting up, and the Still Screaming bonus features here. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Here we go. Guys, you've got to check this stuff out, y'all. Seriously, it's incredible. I recently did a video talking about the voice changer for Scream 3. And people have always talked for a lot, some people, not everybody, but some people have always talked since I've seen the movie about how that technology didn't exist. That's not real. Blah, blah, blah. I've always defended it because I love it. I think it's the coolest idea to have people's voices. You can change it. And it was in one of those DVD interviews that you posted, Nate, with the prop master, JP Jones, who worked with Wes for 15 years on tons of movies. And he told the story about that where Wes, I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said something like, Wes told him, for me to do this, I want to at least have some kind of working form of this, and you need to go make it work, basically. And they did. They came up with a way to get 5 different voices on this card and to put inside the device. And when he showed it to Wes, I guess Wes was like, okay, then we'll do it. And then he also made a great point after that I've never forgotten. JP said him and Wes were talking about, realism and reality and all this stuff. And then Wes said, there comes a point where I have to remind everyone that, if I wanted to make films about reality, I would make documentaries. But that's not, so he's making fictional movies. So, and then the imagination of the creator, that's the way you do it. It's on screen. So, but anyway, I never heard that. My point is, in 20 plus years, I've never heard that interview, that information ever, written or elsewhere. So guys, you need to go check it out. I put a link in the stream to the actual location where you can purchase the DVD from Anthony, get that and get it in your Blu-ray player. And in the meantime, while you see what you do is you do this, you go order it. And then while you're waiting for it to ship, you go to Nate's channel, subscribe, and watch some of the bonus content to get your prep. You get your prep like an appetizer. Get ready to go. That's the way this thing needs to work, guys. So go show them some love here from the channel, and let them know how much we appreciate their hard work, because that's
absolutely
that's
yeah.
hard
And
work.
also, Ryan and I did a commentary that no one heard. So we watched the entire documentary. We tell you all those funny stories through it, and we tell you how to, because the movie isn't on here, so we tell you how to just sync it up on your mobile device while
Yeah.
you're watching your TV or whatever, and you turn down the volume and turn up the volume, and but we tell you the whole thing, and there's stuff I'm forgetting because you forget shit when you get older, and it's also 12 years ago or whatever.
What?
Right? What? I'm like Pee Wee Herman. So
What? What?
What?
One of the
Oh,
voices I
gosh.
do. One of the voices I do.
Yes, one of them.
yeah. So,
I'll do it backstage.
Oh man.
I
Well,
was just looking for my discs. That's just because I was just show you that you guys. I got one from you. And
Oh, yeah.
first
Yeah,
off, everybody, it's absolutely worth getting. I mean, if you're a fan, even a casual fan, it's absolutely worth getting. And two, it took me
Wait.
even when it was all done. Yeah, look at that.
there you go.
Even when it was,
There you
I was
go.
done with the two. It still wasn't enough in my mind. I still want to see more. So it's not anything where you're going to get burned out. You're going to want more as well. But
Yes.
it's so worth it. Go get it for
well,
real.
if you notice, the girls that you're seeing on are not in the movies. So we open it with a with a little skit like of our own that we shot in this house,
Mhm.
and I couldn't use any real licensed footage. So these were illustrations by an artist that we had done, and so everything on it is stuff that I own, and that's Ryan Turek right there. That's not even from the movie. That's just him like in a mask. So I own all of that, and RJ gave me the blessing to use all of the Ghostface stuff. I emailed him, and he said, "Sure, Anthony, for you, anything." And he was, so we were able to put it out and make it look like a Scream package with the artwork we had, without violating any copyright.
It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and I was like, "Oh, I'm getting a miniature Scream movie.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!" It's like this is great.
Yeah.
Jennifer just said thank you for coming on the channel again. Always a fun time. Yes,
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
Jennifer.
It's a blast.
appreciate you guys. That's so kind. Thank you, Jennifer. Maverick says he's ordering the DVD now.
Do it, Mav. You're
Oh,
gonna love it.
nice.
There we go. Steinhardt says I just ordered the DVD. There you go. 2 DVDs sold right
Oh my
now.
gosh.
Look at that.
This is like QVC. I feel like.
I really wish I
But
had it
wait,
downstairs.
there's
I would've
more.
shown
Thank
it.
you for the orders very much. I'm only happy that you're getting it, because the frustration, like it's so much work. People don't understand it. Nate knows this because we worked on the Paranormal Activity documentary, and like it's so much work getting these stories, and like and the worst feeling of all is to feel like no one's going to see it, because you're talking about how you saw that JP Jones interview and how that meant something to you. You saw it and you never heard that story. There's so much of those stories on here, so many of them, and so it just makes me happy that you'll get it, that you'll actually be able to hear these stories. So
that's so awesome. So guys, keep it up. Let's start a trend here tonight. Let's see how many we can get sold tonight for Anthony's site. And you guys, and
there's only 4 left. There's only
there you go.
Order now.
Order now in the next 5 minutes, or you may.
I feel like.
It's true.
What about this hand lotion? I don't know. I just feel like the natural progression is like, what else are we selling? But
oh no, it's
genuine
stuff,
Scream flashlights.
Yeah, used on the set.
Used by Dewey
connecting
and Scream 1.
This is used by an actual grip on the set.
This is used by the craft service table in the dark to make sure the chips are in the right spot.
Yes, and of course, there's Nate's channel also. Be sure and check him out. Go subscribe. After this stream ends, click that right there and go there and hit subscribe. Watch the content. He's got some great stuff. And talking about some screen used memorabilia, let me tell you, you're in for a treat. It's, man, all I can tell you is that Jill and Charlie's, I keep saying game worn because I think of like football, but it's but the screen used items there, it's just, man, it's phenomenal, Nate. And I know you were close to getting that Scream 3 voice changer we talked about last time, and still on the hunt, I'm sure. But dude,
you got some cool stuff though.
Well, and you were able to share on the video too of one of the Scream 3 hero masks, like the Roman's mask, right from Scream 3. You were able to share a video on, which was phenomenal to hold the darn mask, like and just
Yeah,
dude,
and the stunt robe too with the buttons.
Yep.
Versus the Velcro, so when they shot the squibs went off, it wouldn't blow open the costume. Yeah, so I just love that. Everyone should go back and watch these guys' first video with Craven, especially when because Nate was in his living room, right? And I was like, hey Nate, because I already knew what they were, but Craven didn't. And I was like, hey Nate, that look at the costumes in the background. Just watch Craven's face. It's so fun to watch.
Yep.
He's so excited. He's like, oh, those replicas, and he's like, no, they're the real. All nonchalant. Oh, they're the real ones. Like, and he's just like, what?
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was fun to watch him. It's a fun
yes. In fact, I think I even told my daughter because she knew this interview was coming up, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "Now, last time we did this, Nate was flexing on the interview because we had the Jill and Charlie screen worn shirts.
Mhm.
So cool though.
Just
so
up on
cool.
his wall, whatever.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Nice
Now,
decoration.
Oh gosh,
At least it's not a shrine. That's better, I guess.
Right.
not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
It's working on that. Now, Anthony, I have to ask you, man, about some projects. I know that you've got something that we want people to be aware of. There's a novel, right? Tell us about this novel that you've got out right
Yes. Okay, so if you guys like My Bloody Valentine, I love the 2009 remake. I watch it every single year. But
Patrick
the
Lussier.
1981, my company just helped produce the My Bloody Valentine
Awesome.
novel
Yeah.
with an incredible author named Armando Munoz,
Wow.
who has written 3 incredible books. And I had just finished working with the licensor of My Bloody Valentine because we did a board game. My company started a new company called Stop the Killer. And it's called Stop. If you go to stopthekiller.com, we have 2 board games. We're going to do Halloween 2 next. We're doing Halloween 2 board game. I'm so freaking excited. We've been talking to Universal. But we had just done this board game, My Bloody Valentine, and it's a board game. You open the board and there's all the characters in it, and it's a lot of fun. And so I said, hey, have you guys thought about doing a novel for My Bloody Valentine? Because the director, George Mahalka, if you ever talk to him, My Bloody Valentine was ruined by the MPAA. They just sort of butchered his film and took out all these, they ruined his film. And he's never been able to tell the whole story. And so this was a place to tell his whole story. And what Armando did to this book was so great. He added new characters. He fixed problems in the movie. He told the story that George had. There's a dog in it. There's no dog in the movie. It's just an incredible feat. And it literally is starting to ship next week. And if you're in LA, you can go to Dark Delicacies bookstore in Burbank on February 4th. And we're doing a little novel / board game launch, and you can pick up the game in the book. And
that's a good date.
And it's right before. Why is February 4th a good date?
It's the release date of Scream 3, anyway.
Oh, is that why? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a dork.
Like, wait a minute. I'm like, yeah, it's a good date. Wait, why?
It's a horror movie, it all comes together in their own ways.
Yeah, some of the actors from My Bloody Valentine are going to be there. So, if you're into My Bloody Valentine, come on down. The book is sold out. So the
nice.
couple of the books that Dark Dells has are the only books left.
Wow.
And you can get them autographed by everybody that's there, the actors included. They've agreed to sign everything.
Okay, Craven, let's go. I'll book
right?
the ticket.
Bro,
come on out,
dude.
We'll roll out the red carpet for you.
Oh no. I travel. I bring my own red carpet. You don't have to roll it out. No,
I'll talk to your handler.
Exactly. I'll have my people call your people. And
I want the spread too. I keep bringing it up, but
you reproduce the Craven spread.
I will just tell you, I will not spend $200 on a spread for you guys. I will buy you something you want. But
that's awesome.
We'll go $20, I guess.
$20.
It's just, I think it showed like the star he was, because I've seen like people just raid the day. Oh, thank you. I didn't have any breakfast this morning, But Wes was like, no, he probably had. I don't know what he did in the morning to eat, but he probably didn't. It's like, what is this peasant food?
Right.
Bagels.
I give that. That's what I serve my servants. Oh gosh. And Nate, what's going on, man? Anything else you'd like to share? Any collectibles on the horizon? Any other projects you can let out of the bag at all? That's you're cooking up?
I think pretty much anything that I'm working on now is with Anthony as always, and most of it's stuff we can't talk about.
Right.
I know. That's all right though, because the day will come that you are able to, and that will give us more to talk about in the future appearances. Knock on wood. I see you're lining it up for the rest of the year. this has been absolutely fantastic. And Brett, while let's I'd be remiss.
I want to hear, Brett, what's going on with
Oh,
your
Yes,
project?
boy.
Oh my
your
god,
project.
it's almost done. When I read the script, I
You
was like,
guys.
Yeah, man,
Tell
of
us, tell us.
course.
You wanted to see this mask, so Mavi, or Maverick, sorry, I call him Mavi. He's like, "Where'd the Michael Myers mask go?" And I held it up. It wasn't to interrupt anyone. I was just showing him that I grabbed it. Again, this
Yeah.
is just a touched up normal whatever mask, but that we use just for props. But what I thought was really funny about this is that in the inside, if you can see this, like we still have some of the fake blood and whatnot from
Oh,
the
Neato. How
scenes.
cool.
So this one actually is an Indiegogo perk that somebody bought, and so everyone at the premiere is going to sign it,
Oh,
and then we're
that's
going to send
great.
it to the guy. But the actual mask with Derek Ritchie was custom. So this was loose on him, where the other one is so custom and form fitting. That's why it looks so good on his body, because it's not just something that we just went to the store and bought. So that's cool. Yeah,
the
right now
mask does change, like in the movies.
Mhm.
Like Dick Warlock's face was a little fatter.
yeah,
And
yeah,
the
Yep.
mask does
Mhm.
it does change. So when you put it
Yeah.
on, yeah.
yeah. This is just when he's doing stunts. I can just say that. No, yeah, the movie right now we're getting the trailer. We're getting a full trailer done for the Indiegogo, but we're going to also. It's the first time anyone's really seen the footage the way it should be shown, and we're going to premiere that next Saturday on Craven's stream. But it's going to drop the
right.
30th of January with the Indiegogo launch. But it's just it, as you guys know, I think even Craven in your editing, you
Oh, yeah.
start out with a project and then you film the project or put it together, and then with the editing, it's just that third time you're creating a story and crafting the story. And so we're noticing that this has more of kind of a Silence of the Lambs like feel to it than just a regular slasher film. Like it feels like there's a psychology to it, and more character based, I guess, maybe more fleshed out character, if you will. I mean, Anthony's read the script, so you kind of saw where I was going with it. But yeah, and today we just confirmed our composer, and he sent me some of his ideas of what to do, and it's just, I mean, everything with this, and it's outside of me. I was just blessed. People read the script, they want to be part of it, and they're some of the top in the Utah industry that are working on this and just bringing their A games to it. And so it just keeps elevating and leveling up. And now we have Gregory Anderson, he's worked with Disney. He's worked with Disney parks, especially Hong Kong, for sound design and music. And he's done like 35 films with like 2 like features in there. And I've known him for a long time. He's a good friend, but he finally was able to jump on board. So, we'll have an original score to it. And I'm going to tease this. We're going to create a Laurie theme, which I don't think has ever been done in a Halloween
Nice,
film.
dude.
So what he's done so far, I'm just like, it's chilling. It's just wonderful. So yeah, it's just a lot of work. It's as you were saying earlier, putting documentaries together. This is like 5 full-time jobs on top of the other full-time job I have. So, it's I'm happy to take breaks like this to come talk to you guys, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity from Craven.
Of course.
So,
yeah, man. Hey, like I said earlier, man, Brett, without you helping to bring us, tie the cords together to make this happen, and then it could have still happened, but I'm doubtful. So thank you. I think this.
It's serendipitous.
Yeah, exactly. It was meant to be, man.
These are my guys. This is my guys.
It's awesome, bro. Well, again, Anthony, Nate, I want to thank you both again for even staying way longer than we anticipated. I really do appreciate it. I think from moving forward, I'll say, guys, can I book you for 2 hours? Then that way I won't feel, because I feel bad.
You got to just say an hour and a half, but these guys will book 2 hours. So then
there you go.
Everyone's happy.
That's even better. Yeah. But seriously, anything else, Anthony or Nate, you want to share with the audience at all? Any other? I don't want to cut it off.
Just enjoy Scream 6. I mean,
yeah.
Invite people, go with friends, celebrate it. I mean, you got to go to the movies to see a movie nowadays. Like, and those movies are crowd movies. So just bring all your friends, make a big group. That's what we're doing. So, my friend and Nate's friend too, Jolene. I don't know if you know who Jolene Nordstrom is. Right. So Jolene is if you don't know, if you're watching, she was the stunt double for Courtney Cox in the original Scream. And when Nate and I did our Scream Comes Home event, we became friends with her, and she lives a few blocks from me. Nice. So, I want to bring her, and it's just
fun.
Have fun with it. Yes. Go in, buy some popcorn, have a little drink before, just go have fun.
Okay, Craven.
Absolutely.
I'll get the airline tickets. We're going to that too.
Let's do it.
Right?
Let's do
We're
it.
gonna
Pretty
get a
much anything
planner.
you're doing, we're just gonna go. We're just gonna
Yeah.
show up.
Anthony
We'll be
and
the
Nate,
Jay and Silent Bob of the group.
yeah, we'll
We're
just
just
kick
always
back.
there.
We'll just watch. We'll be there. Absolutely hanging out. But that sounds amazing. That'll be fun. That'd
Yeah.
be so fun. And yeah, so guys, listen, this was a real pleasure. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll meet you backstage in just a second. We can say our one-on-one goodbyes. But for everyone in the chat, thank you all for showing up tonight and hanging out with us and all your generous super chats along the way and your great questions. We had a great time. Anthony and Nate said they will be back after Scream is dropped, and we all have seen it. So we'll get it. Maybe we'll get with them back at the end of March, 1st of April, and we can dig into the movie. And oh, I can't wait for those conversations. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be so much to talk about. It's gonna be fantastic. But don't forget to go to Nate's YouTube channel. The links are in the chat and the description, and Anthony's sites also stopthekiller.com. And help me out, Nate. The screaming site one more time.
Still screamingbonus.com.
That's it. Darn it. I got one of them memorized. Yeah, help us out. I'll put links to those in the description also so that they'll be there after the replay mode. All right, guys, we're going to end it there. One thing I do want to share real quick, speaking of stunt doubles, guys, coming up here on February the 4th, Jacqueline Gertz, who is Mia Goth's stunt double in X, and also Samara Weaving's stunt double from Ash versus Evil Dead and Snake Eyes, will be joining me to discuss her time and experience filming these projects. And look at her in that makeup. It's Pearl up there. Isn't that incredible? Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
So, yeah, we're going to have a great time. She's going to be coming on February the 4th. Oh, I know my banner's covering it up. Sorry, guys. There it is. February the 4th, which I think is just literally a couple of weeks away, at 9:30 p.m. Central. So
Yeah.
be sure you are here. And also, just want to let you guys know that coming up in the month of February or early March, I will be having the actress who plays Megan in the film Megan, who actually is
Oh, that's so cool.
plays the
Cool.
doll, the
Yeah.
AI. The actress who plays her will be coming on. I got confirmation
that's
from her
nice.
mom, and because she's only 12,
That's awesome.
so
Oh,
yeah. So
Have her
her
do the
mom
dance.
confirmed the interview. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So she's going to be coming in. We don't have a date locked in, but I have a confirmation of yes for the interview. So stay
Awesome.
tuned. It's going to be good times coming up. All right, guys, we will see you very, very soon. I'll be back on Monday night for my usual Monday night stream hangout. And for everyone else, thank you again, Nate, and thank you again, Anthony, and great to see you, Brett, as always.
Oh, hi. Thanks.
All right, guys.
Thank
We'll see
you.
you soon. Bye, everyone.